Hello, hello. And we are live on YouTube. Welcome. Thank you for joining. If you haven't already, please hit that like button and subscribe if you like this kind of chatter so that you are up on all the latest and greatest things happening in our world here on Creative Costume Academy. So, in this Creative Costume Academy world, we call it Tricky Thursday. Today is Tricky Thursday. Usually, you will see a video come out from me on a tip or trick of something that I have learned along my 20+ year long career making costumes for big theatrical productions or just sewing my sewing life in general. Hi, Doretha. Good to see you. But because we just came off of a big, huge launch where we opened the doors to all of these amazing people that you see behind me, all just joined my private pattern making membership. So I was so focused on that, plus a million other things. I did not have time to film Tricky Thursdays for this month. So I thought instead, it's still Tricky Thursday, that I would go live on here and chat about hello, Sandra. Hello. So if you are new to my world, then you probably have not heard me talk about PatternCon. So PatternCon is a dream that is becoming reality. In my world, I am planning on creating a convention dedicated to pattern making of all types and having a place where those of us who want to learn, oh, be joyful today. Yes, I am joyful today. I hope you are as well, Flower Joy 20. And hello, Karen. Good afternoon. Yes. And again, just because we're a little bit into it, if you like this, please hit that like button. It helps me get out to more people on YouTube who might be interested in this sort of thing. So we should make shorts that go under dresses. We should make shorts that go under dresses. Yes, that's a good thing to learn. Shorts that go under dresses. I know that those are kind of popular these days. I've seen them in the stores and stuff, except they're calling them skirts. And I don't know. I grew up, late 80s, early 90s, where skirts, it's like a skirt in the front, shorts in the back. Those are just kind of like shorts under dresses. But anyway, what I was talking about is PatternCon. So I have this dream that, because in case you are new to me or you haven't heard, I am your pattern nerd friend. I love all things pattern making because I feel like it's a superpower, especially if you sew, of course, that you know how to make anything if you understand patterns. And there's so much to learn under that. I just love, and this is what we do in the pattern place, is we learn about pattern making, we learn about fitting. That's kind of my whole brand. Learning about pattern making, and then it doesn't have to be hard, it can be easy. But I call myself a pattern nerd because I love it. I'm obsessed with it. I like to learn all things about it. And as much as I've studied it, and there's always more to learn. And I really enjoy learning from other people who have different approaches, how they use it differently. And I would love to get together with a bunch of other people who love pattern making, who want to learn cool stuff, and create a convention about it. So, I mean, does that sound good? Those of you who are here, would you be interested in, going to a convention where we learn about pattern making? Hi, Ruthie. Welcome. Happy you're here as well. So, yeah, so that's kind of what I was thinking. And everyone I've talked to about this has been really excited. And because it's not only pattern making, you can make anything out of fabric. It's also, I mean, pattern making, we talk about it in sewing, but it really can translate to any time you're taking a flat 2D something and fitting it onto a 3D shape. So I know I was talking to my time where he works for like a golf club manufacturer, and he was like, oh yeah, we have these people who figure out like the contours of the golf club. So it's kind of like pattern making for golf clubs, not to get super off the subject. But so I thought it would be a really helpful thing, plus a lot of fun, because not only is there pattern making for fitting, for just regular clothing and fashion. I mean, there's so many aspects that you can go into for clothing. We can do vintage pattern making. We can do drafting and using like vintage drafting systems. I have been obsessed since I discovered it of the world of wearable art. It's a huge show that happens in New Zealand every year. If you have not checked it out, go check that out. If you guys have seen like the what is it, like it's like a honeycomb dress. There's like a ring that you lift. It's like a regular dress, and then you lift the ring up, and it's like all this honeycomb. All of that had to be figured out, and that is a pattern that you had to figure out. I mean, now there's Clo 3D, so there's all of these 3D pattern drafting software programs. So there's that aspect of it. There's more of like cosplay pattern making and how you go about doing that. There's like the Luderlo system and the system that Mr. Pew has created using these. Actually, I think Mr. Pew has taken older scale up patterns and kind of made them more accessible. So you can get all kinds of vintage styles mostly, and get a draft where you get the little pattern and you scale it up. That's also pattern making. There's grading, there's fitting, there's all kinds of things that we can dive into. And then there's the whole like Shingo Sato transformational reconstruction. There's another guy. What is his name? Oh my gosh, I'm blanking on his name. It's like negative space, something about negative space. And I just thought it would be really awesome to come together and learn about this stuff, have classes on it, have speakers, present things. Maybe we even do awards for like most, I don't know, innovative pattern creation. I don't know. Like this is my dream. These are my ideas. And when I've talked about it, people have gotten excited and said, yeah, they're all about it. They would love to be involved, especially fitting. I know fitting is always a thing, and that's a huge thing that goes with pattern making as well. So we could definitely like dedicate a lot just to fitting, and just learning, so that everybody, and also besides just learning all this really cool stuff that I would geek out and like just love to learn all of this, but also celebrating it. Celebrating the art of pattern making and the power that it has. Like I said, doing awards or, just having a celebration of how freaking awesome and powerful this is. And that is one main thing for me, is to not only spread the knowledge and create a fun learning environment that I would love to be a part of. And Doretha says, yes, please, that other people would be encouraged to do it, but also to highlight how powerful pattern making is, because it's not even, to the normal person who maybe doesn't sew or doesn't know much about fashion, they don't even know what a pattern maker is. So if you're not even sure what it is or what that skill is, how could you ever want to learn it? So it's for me, it's like, let's celebrate, highlight, and talk about how, because it's that pinnacle part. Like, fashion designers cannot create designs without their pattern make, without their team that helps them figure out their sketch and turn it into reality. That is the pattern maker's job, and that's oftentimes in like a big design house, it's not one person, right? It's a team, but you never hear about those people. And you think that it's just about the design. And there's so much, like, that is a pivotal part. It's the same thing with costumes, like in my world, like you have the costume design part of it. And then you have the people who make that, and the people who wear it on stage. Most people don't think about the fact that it has to go from that sketch and given to somebody, a team of people that can take that sketch and turn it into reality. And that is so powerful when you are the part of that process. It's like so many doors open for you. And you can really do so much with that skill. And so that's kind of, to me, what PatternCon is about. But the reason that I'm here live with you is because I am working on this. We did a test to see if people are interested in this kind of a thing. I'm hosting a retreat called Fitabulous Fit Weekend, which I know Doretha and Sandra are both going to, and it sold out in 1 minute. So I was like, oh, okay, people are interested in that. Now, of course, that is more of a fitting 3-day workshop where we will be doing, my partner and I will be doing a one-on-one fitting with participants, doing the fitting, making pattern adjustments, and then taking that pattern and drafting a cool design. So so I know for sure people are interested in fitting. I have to figure out how we're going to incorporate that level of attention, because that's more of a one-on-one smaller thing than we would do like in a convention where we have many classes and displays and things like that. So I know that there's interest in that. I'm trying to kind of just want to open up the conversation so that was my first little, let's dip the toe in the water and see if there's interest. Okay, people are interested is the answer I got back basically. So I am moving forward. I have a logo that you're going to see on the thumbnail for the replay for this. And I am working to try and create the first PatternCon 25, hopefully next August. So I want to start the conversation. What kinds of things do we want to see at PatternCon? What kinds of things are we most interested in? Doretha has just commented, networking, meeting other sewists with different skills, like coming together, making sure that you can exchange ideas with other people, connect with people. So maybe some kind of community aspect, some kind of maybe like a dance or a ball or some kind of meet and greet kind of thing. Is that sound like something that you would be like, yeah, that needs to be a part of PatternCon? Because this isn't going to be just me and what I want PatternCon to be. I want it to be something that is, that is something that you all will get excited about, and that we're building together. This is a huge thing. A convention is a huge thing, right? And I am here spearheading it. I will collect the people. I will find the venue. I'll figure out all the things that I need to do to make it happen. But I want to hear from you. I want to hear from you. Like, what do we want to see there? Here's my other idea is that I want to start bringing on some of the people I've been talking with, like Jennifer Stern, my friend Mela Hoyt Hayden, who is a milliner, but also she's who I learned from actually. And she is way into historical fashion, historical drafts, creating, and maybe bringing that into the modern age. I'd like to bring her on here and we open a discussion about like some cool ideas that she has, get your feedback on that. So that is coming, but I didn't quite prepare for that just yet. So I thought, let's open the conversation with just us. And so I can get a feel for what you guys are thinking. So, Karen, you're going to Together We Stitch. Awesome. Yay. I'm glad you're going to Together We Stitch. So for those of you who don't know, I am part of a very special online virtual sewing expo, which is actually hosted in Australia. So I think it should be kicking off fairly soon. Because it starts officially Friday the 11th, which it is Friday the 11th over there in a few hours. And I was one of the 7 speakers, and it's completely free to join. And there is an optional VIP upgrade. So if you join for free, you get to watch all of our pre-recorded classes. I'm teaching about fitting and pattern making, of course. But there's a class on like machine maintenance. There's a class on projector sewing software, mending, like really good mending and upcycling. There's all kinds of stuff. It's completely free. If you want to hear about that, I can drop the link. Shoot, maybe I can grab it while I'm on this live. But the VIP package is I think it's like $37 US. And so you get to watch all those presentations for up to 72 hours. She has them available. Megan from, is it Sew and Tell? I think is her company name. But if you buy the VIP package, you get access for a full year to all of these classes. Plus, each of the speakers has given a little digital part to add to the digital giveaway. So like my class is the Brief Brilliance class that some of you have taken, I know, who are here learning how to sew briefs that don't give you a wedgie and install elastics like a professional costumer. I know that there's like a gift card for projector sewing software. There's all kinds of goodies like worth over $400, and you get it all and all of the videos for $72. So Together We Stitch is starting tomorrow, and you can watch, all the presentations if you're interested in that. I will make sure to add the link. Will some of the classes for PatternCon be virtual? Flower Joy is asking. So I do want to include a virtual aspect of it because I know that I have followers and students from all over the world. So that's definitely something that I want to try to incorporate. I do want PatternCon to be an in-person thing though. I do want this to be something that we come together in person. I think that's really important. And then I think that there could be a virtual add-on. And where are you located, Flower Joy? I'm curious. Sandra's saying a good vendor show to be able to learn what resources are available for pattern making supplies. That's a great idea, Sandra. And definitely we are going to have vendors. A vendor hall will be part of it. So like what kinds of things, you know what? I'm going to take notes. I don't know why I thought I would just remember this. I mean, I could watch it over again and look at your guys' chats, but virtual, you guys are interested in. So I'm curious, do you guys want to learn more about fitting? Is it more concern about like you want to learn how to draft certain designs? Do you like vintage stuff? Do you want to learn more like cosplay, like very outrageous costumey, like big 3D things? Those are the kinds of things that I'm curious about. So that I know do you like that really kind of avant-garde pattern making? Do you want to know more digital pattern making, how to turn patterns into making them ready for PDF, like to sell your patterns online? Is that something that you're interested in? So virtual classes, I'm going to write. And networking. I know that Doretha said networking is important. What do you guys think about that networking? Like, is that more of like a place where people can exchange business information and connect with other businesses? Or is it more of a community thing? Like, let's come together and have some kind of an event where we can have community and interact with people and hang out and mingle. What do you guys think about that? Let me see. And a vendor show. I know that the last time I brought this up on YouTube, we talked about fabric, having fabric in person for sure, tools, pattern making tools. I mean, we have to have food too, right? We all like to eat. I don't know about y'all, but I like to eat. Pattern tools and books, I would imagine. Books, fabric. And then sewing stuff too. I mean, you can't have pattern making without sewing as far as like garment pattern making. Kristen says, hi, everyone. I just want to let you know the wedding was on Saturday and it was a spectacular evening. I lost count of all the compliments on my outfit on my daughter's clothes. Kristen, that's so wonderful. Kristen is one of our sew stars actually, and she's been working all quarter on this really awesome outfit, and she finished it and wore it to the wedding, and her daughter had this really beautiful blouse that she made as well. That is so wonderful, Kristen. That's so wonderful. And you're also going to Together We Stitch. That's amazing. Let me try to pull the link for that and drop it in here so anybody who wants to join can join. Because I think that this chat will save. Let me go. So if I post it, you guys should even be able to, who are watching the replay. Otherwise, I'll put it in the description. So if you haven't joined Together We Stitch, completely free. It's free to join, 72 hours. You can watch all the 7 presentations. I'm just one of the speakers. There's 6 other speakers. I will be talking about fitting. For those of you who know me and have taken classes from me, it's going to be, the same stuff, the dart. I don't know why I'm being quiet. The dart, the almighty dart, because we all know how much I love the dart, but it'll be a lot of stuff that but the other stuff sounds really cool. I'm actually really excited to check out those other classes too. Flower Joy says, perhaps a class beyond the sloper, what to do with it once you have one. That's a great point. And I'm glad that you brought that up, Flower Joy, because that is exactly why for the retreat, remember I said I just created a retreat to kind of test the waters. So what we do in the retreat, it's sold out. You can't join us. We will possibly do more of those or incorporate this into PatternCon, which is what I'm trying to kind of figure out right now. But the retreat is that we all come together. And I have a sloper that is close to your size. And when you show up for the retreat, we are going to fit that sloper to you, a bodice and skirt, just a bodice and skirt for this retreat. We will fit that to you. We will make adjustments over the weekend. And by the end of the like on Sunday, you will have a sloper that has been adjusted to fit you. Then the third optional day, because I know it's like, all right, great. What do I do with the sloper? That is always the big thing that I've heard, like, okay, sloper is great, but what do I do with it? So the third day, the Monday, we will be taking that sloper that now fits you and making it into a dress design. So I showed what that dress design will be. And of course you can make little changes, if you don't love everything about the design that I've picked, but we are going to learn how to make that dress design with your new sloper. And I will say, Flower Joy, that if like figuring out what to do with a sloper after you have one is something you're interested in. So I guess like that could branch into, drafting with a sloper. Like we could do a series of, or have a couple of classes like, okay, let's say you have a sloper. Here's an awesome design and how to draft it using your sloper. Because that's the thing with the sloper is that you now have a base that fits you already. So then it's just a matter, it makes it really simple if the beginning pattern making techniques, that's where the pattern making kind of starts. It's like you have a base that's already fit to you. Then you can just have fun. Then you can go wild and create like crazy designs using pattern making techniques. That's when it gets really fun, because it's frustrating when you're like, yeah, I made this amazing design, but it doesn't fit. Right. So the fitting can get really frustrating. So I think that's what a lot of people get stuck with, and then they don't get to have fun. So that's what my whole mission is I was like, let's get to the fun part. Let's just not focus so much on the fitting. Let's help with the fitting, get past the fitting so that we can start having fun with our slopers and our patterns and making fun new designs that are awesome and cool exactly the way we want. Okay. So Doretha, I put that link in there. Hopefully you've got it. Yes to all of that. Historical outfits, vintage cosplay. Cool. So I'm hearing that you guys like all of that kind of stuff. And then what, I really am excited. So Mella Hoyt Hayden, she was actually my first costume professor, the first person who introduced me to pattern making really when I was in school. She's a good friend of mine still. She's the one who is doing the retreat with me, the Fitabulous Fit retreat weekend. And because I couldn't do all 20 people by myself, I want to make sure you get the right attention, that we have all the adjustments, and that we have a complete sloper by the end of the 2 days. So basically I'll have 10 people, she'll have 10 people. We'll be doing it both. But anyway, she's amazing. She's actually an excellent milliner. She makes hats. That is her kind of specialty, and historical fashion. So she's the one who introduced me to, like, I think one of the first drafts that I ever used was to make a doublet, for a men's doublet. We were doing Shakespeare in Love, and we made a men's doublet out of like hot pink silk du peony. It was amazing, with like stripes and the whole 9 yards. But I want to have her on and like chat with her because we were talking about PatternCon. We were talking about what it could look like. And she's really interested in taking like historical silhouettes or historical elements, like certain collars or certain sleeves, and incorporating them into like a modern design. I think would be really, and I was like, that sounds really cool and really awesome, to just get like a unique spin on a new design. So I think that would be really cool too. So that's why I want to bring on other people, and then you guys can kind of start to get a feel for like kinds of things that they are into, even besides, stuff that I can offer. And so that we can start collecting these people and have out amazing teachers, have amazing vendors, have amazing classes lined up for PatternCon, and like make it be what you guys really are into and really want. Kristen says, I like the Beyond the Sloper idea, maybe making, and Kristen says an outfit together virtually, like making, I'm maybe making an outfit together virtually. I get it. Yeah. Making an outfit, like sewing, okay. So we draft a design using our sloper, and then we can do like this. So like I have a sewing party, like, would that be fun for networking? What do you guys think about that idea? Connection, mingling, and opportunity for collaboration and mentorship, Doretha says, as far as like connecting with others. I think that's a really good idea. Like collaboration. Well, I think that would happen by, just talking with people, mingling, connection, mingling, opportunity for collaboration and mentorship. Yeah. And I think that anybody that I brought in, teachers, people who would be, offering things for PatternCon, I think that they have their offerings as well. Like a lot of them are teachers, obviously, and mentors. So having opportunities where you can continue, you mean like past the PatternCon, like where can they continue to learn with people and connect? Okay, I love this. Thank you guys so much for like giving feedback. This is exactly what I'm hoping to get. And just so you know, if you're joining, we're talking about PatternCon, which is a convention that I am working on to create, that will be centered around and focused on pattern making, or things to do with pattern making and fitting and sewing and all of that. And I'm asking for people to tell me what kinds of things you want to see at PatternCon. What kinds of things would get you excited to want to go to this? And we would try to maybe do a virtual aspect of it as well. But I really think that it would be important to get people together in person so that we're all like interested in this cool superpower and what we can do with it and how we can learn from it, the tools that we can use. So these are the suggestions that we're talking about. Because I am putting it together. We are actively putting it together, my team and I, and coming up with ideas and figuring out what you want to see, and so that's what we're talking about. I am going to be doing this every Thursday for next Tuesday and the following Thursday. Sorry, I said Tuesday, Thursday for Tricky Thursday, because that's what we do in my world. I'll come on live, and if you have any suggestions, or I'll tell you kind of the things that I'm hearing for this month. And then I think I want to continue maybe doing once a month or twice a month, a live here as well, and inviting some of the other collaborators. I'm thinking about, bringing us together and seeing their ideas and seeing what you guys think about them. And you can ask them questions. And so that we really are tailoring it to be something that you guys are going to benefit from, that you would see helpful continuing on your pattern journey. And that's what we're doing here. So definitely come back next Thursday and we'll continue this conversation. I'm not wrapping up. I'm just letting everyone know, so that you guys know where to, like, let's keep chatting about it. This is just the beginning, and I'll keep you guys updated with, of course, like what's come up. I just came up with the logos. I do have an Instagram. There's nothing on that Instagram. Maybe I should at least put the logo on. I mean, the logo is on there, but not as a post. If you guys are interested, it's PatternCon. I think it might be, is it pattern.con or is it just PatternCon? At PatternCon. So go find me and join us there. We're going to start this movement, Yeah, supplies for drafting patterns is something I find hard to acquire from small businesses. Absolutely, Sandra, and that's so true. Like pattern paper, needle wheels. You know what I've always wanted, and I've seen them on Amazon. Like the punch instead of using an awl to like do your punch holes, notchers. Those are really hard things. They don't sell them at normal fabric stores or sewing stores because people don't know what pattern making is. And they don't think of it, as being something that a lot of people are being interested in. So it's hard to find these supplies. And yeah, absolutely. And I mean, no shade on small businesses because they are putting out the funds, to purchase these supplies to keep them on their shelves. And if they're just sitting there and nobody knows to go and get them, they're losing money by keeping that in inventory. So that's why you're not finding it at a lot of smaller places. And that is part of the movement of creating PatternCon is bringing awareness to how awesome, sexy, and cool it is to know pattern making, right? And to like learn this super, super strong, super powerful skill. So that is part of the whole PatternCon movement, is to bring awareness to it so that maybe things won't be so hard to find. But yeah, absolutely. We would have tools, and I did write that down, that would be available so that you can be able to take stuff home to help you with your craft. Roundtables with facilitators concerning their expertise in particular subject matters. That would also be a networking. That's a great idea, Sandra. I really like that. So roundtables and mingling, roundtables. Mentorship. Yeah, I like that a lot, actually. And talking about people's specific skills. But I guess a roundtable now, why a roundtable more than like say like having a speaker talk about their stuff? Is it because of the question asked, like to be able to be involved in the conversation more than just somebody like having a talk? Is that more why we like that idea? Talk about how to make money as a sewist, pricing and entrepreneurship. Yeah, the business side of it. Great idea. I think that's severely lacking in this field for sure. Business info and classes maybe, and like pricing. I think that's a great idea. And maybe examples of where this skill can be used, how you can use it, how it can benefit you in your career, like what that means as far as when you have this skill, like how you can make money on that. Hi, Sue. Welcome. They are smaller groups and less time than in a class or a speaker, Sandra says. Yeah, with the roundtable conversations. I really like that idea. And see, this is why we're talking about it, because I want to hear from you guys. And I wouldn't have thought of that. So this is all so good. Such good stuff, you guys. PatternCon is happening. Are we excited? PatternCon's happening. Let me know in the chat. This is honestly, I know those of you who've been around me for a while have heard me talk about this. It's been like a dream baby I've had for a couple of years now. And I've talked about it, I've mentioned it, and people get excited about it, which makes me really excited. And I'm moving forward with it, yeah, I really, really love it. Is there a date? Oh gosh, Sue, so much pressure. So there is a tentative, and friends. Yes, absolutely. And then Sandra says, then you change to a different table subject that will have different people in structured mingling is like the round table experience that Sandra's suggesting. So yeah, you just want to be there, Sue says. So see what I'm saying? We've got a lot of excited people. There isn't a set date. We did the retreat as kind of a testing the waters to gauge interest. Huge response. So I want to, is that important? These are all great ideas. I love it. The tools, the networking, what do you do beyond the sloper? Loving the vintage, the cosplay, all of that stuff is fitting like something that you would want to tackle in this setting, like at a convention like this, if it was, say, like a VIP option that was an upgrade, or if somehow, because we wouldn't be able to obviously do it on a grand scale with like big groups of people, it would have to be something that was smaller, kind of add-on thing. Is that something that would be of interest as being part of this convention, or that is still like a separate retreat kind of a situation? I'm curious about that, because that's what I'm trying to wrap my mind around, is that I know you guys really love the one-on-one fitting. And for me as a teacher, honestly, that's going to be easier for me because I've learned a lot about virtual fitting and guiding my students on how I need them to pin or what I'm seeing and like moving this up there. But if I could get in there and do it and show you, it's going to go a lot faster. So, and I think also hit home a lot easier for the people that I'm showing. So that's what I'm looking forward to the in-person retreat. And I'm trying to think of, like maybe we could do like an all-day class, and tackle part of that as like a before the convention could happen, or it would be like a VIP kind of upgrade option that would be for a smaller group of people who wanted that. And that would be a limited thing as well, because it just takes time. That's the only thing. When it's a one-on-one, obviously it's not like a group setting situation. So I'm trying to figure out if that's something that, we incorporate into the convention, because I know that's going to be a desire. Because when you do stuff like in a class or a group setting, it has to be a little bit more generalized. When you start looking at specific individuals and doing fitting on a person by person basis, there's a limit to how much you can do with that. So yeah, I agree. The roundtables are awesome. Yeah, I do love this idea, Sandra. Great thinking. Yes. I seeing all that. So yeah, fitting maybe a 2-day before add-on, like a VIP option. Okay, yeah, for sure. So what I'm thinking of, Sue is asking, is there a date? I really, and the reason we're talking about this now is I would love to come up with something. Like, it's not going to be the full thing. I have big dreams, but we have to start somewhere. And we're obviously doing the retreat in February, but I'm thinking maybe August, maybe next August, maybe, of doing something. So that's why we're talking about it, is I need to start planning like yesterday. And now that the launch is over, I want to get back into, what does that look like? Where is it at? How many days? What kind of vendors am I looking at? How much space do I need? How much interest is there? So that's my job on my end of what I'm starting to think about. But I figured, it's your birthday month, Sue. Yes. So yeah, that's what I'm kind of thinking is shooting for next August. It feels scary saying that out loud, to be honest. If my friend Caitlin was here, she's the one who helped design our logos. She is all about PatternCon 2025. And she's like, oh, it's happening, and I'm like, hold on, girl, I got to figure all this stuff out. And of course, it's not going to only be me. I've got to get a committee of people together. I got to see all the things involved. I've never had a convention before, but it is definitely happening. I'm not somebody who says to do something and then doesn't do it. I'm here talking to you about it. You guys are going to hold me accountable anyway. But yeah, maybe feature one of your students and tell their sewing story. That's such a beautiful idea, Karen. I love that. And that is part of it, like I said in the beginning, and maybe you guys had just jumped on, we've gotten a lot of people joining me. If you are here, please hit that like button. If you like what we're talking about, if you're into the PatternCon idea, please hit the like button. It tells YouTube that you like this kind of thing, and know that we're going to, the next 2 Thursdays at the same time, 3 p.m. Eastern, we're going to come back on and continue this conversation. So if you have ideas that come up, come back. And then starting next month, I want to start having at least a guest a month of, somebody who's maybe going to collaborate with me, and we can start to get their ideas. And we're building this together. Isn't this funny? I love this. This is fun. But part of it, so it's not only about the learning in the classes for me. I love this networking idea. I love bringing in the business aspect of it too. But for me, like the big thing for me is to bring awareness to the craft, to bring awareness to the superpower. Because how are you going to want to learn something that you don't know even exist. And the reason that's so important to me is because of my career in costuming. So most people who go and see a show, like I'm talking a Broadway show, a Cirque du Soleil show, Blue Man Group, you go see a show at Disneyland, whatever, you see the people on stage. And you're like, wow, they're so talented. They're amazing. This show is so wonderful. And you don't realize that there are hundreds, and I'm not exaggerating, hundreds of people backstage making all of that happen. So I have spent most of my life and my career being invisible. No, like nobody knows I exist, which is fine. And actually, I was quite comfortable. I am much more forward facing these days, which is a little uncomfortable sometimes. But most of my life, I've been an invisible person making things happen. And then you think about the fashion designers that Yves Saint Laurent, Christian Dior, Dolce Gabbana, all of these people, Chanel, their names. But they're the ones who usually come up with the ideas, the designs. They are not the people who turn that design into the actual garment. I guarantee you, I don't know their names either. I don't know the names of the people who are doing it, who are actually making it happen. Right. And so you kind of forget about them. They're invisible people also, except that those designers, those costumes on stage would not happen without the people who can turn that design into that reality and make it fit well and make it look good and make it like act the way you need it to act. So there's that whole team of people, and that starts with a pattern maker. It starts with before the stitchers can even stitch. You have to have somebody who can make the pattern. You have to have somebody who can figure out the design, the figure it out person, right? And so that is the skill of pattern making. And the invisibles are usually full of energy. Absolutely. We have to be, because it's like, I got to make it go. So part of it for me is to highlight those people who have been invisible, to highlight those people who are making it happen, to highlight how important, how amazing, how powerful that position is. And to me, honestly, like that is super, super important to me with PatternCon, that we are celebrating the people who are taking this power and using it out there, that are whether it's a student who has, made something for clients, or whether it's a student who's made something for themselves. Like Kristen just said, she made her own dress, or her own jumpsuit, and she went to a wedding and she lost count of the amount of compliments that she got. Like, that's beautiful. That's exactly what I want for every single person. And it's attainable. That's the thing, is these invisible people, they make this thing happen. But nobody knows about it. Nobody knows what they're doing. And what's partly happening is we're losing the interest in wanting to become those people, because why would you want to become something that you didn't know existed? Right? Or you like have heard about this pattern making thing and you're like, oh God, that sounds really hard. Or I tried it once and it was impossible and I couldn't do it. It's too hard for me. I'll just stick to what I have and suffer with, trying to figure out the fit on my own. Whereas if you were like, wow, look at how awesome, look at all the amazing things you can do with this power, makes you like, and then to be shown that it's really not as hard as it's been made out to be, that you can attain this for yourself and then be part of that celebration. So that is a huge piece for me personally that I want to see happen with PatternCon, is to highlight this power, to highlight these people who are making these amazing things happen, and celebrate them, and celebrate students who have conquered this superpower and then have taken it and actually using. That is a huge part of the pattern place, is that we have a big accountability thing built in. You don't have to participate in it, but I don't just want you to like learn this stuff, do the examples, and then never use it. The point is that you learn this superpower. I'm an impatient person. I want you to learn it and then go do it. Like, go do it right now. Like, let's teach you stuff that you can go and use right now that's going to help you right now. So I love that. That's such a great idea, Karen, to like feature the students and celebrate their story. And so on the student level, on people who are just beginning, and also those who've been doing it for a long time, and learn their names and celebrate them and turn them into celebrities, the behind the scenes people who make the others look good, right? Early August is best. Later is back to school. Yeah. Snoops. Okay. Sue, good point. Ooh. That means I gotta act even faster, but I get you. I hear you. So early August is better because of school. I'm gonna write it down. I'm taking notes of school. Good point. That means I got to act quickly. I'm trying. I'm working as fast as I can. Also consider that during the convention, you'll most likely want to announce the next one's date, location, and theme. Absolutely. That's true, Sandra. So not only am I thinking about next year, I'm also thinking about the year after. Good point. Yes, that's true. Yeah. So reach out. I've done convention meetings for our state organization. That's great, Sue. Good to know. Yeah, and I actually have a few people in my corner in my team who have done convention stuff before as well. My mother has as well. So I do have a few resources that I have been collecting. It's just it's such a big thing. It's like, where do you start? But yeah, Sue, we'll talk about it. And Sandra says, are you already reaching out to possible sponsors? What about having charity or sponsorship drive as part of the conference? That's a good idea. And the invisibles are full of energy. Yeah. The hidden heroes. Exactly, Karen. Exactly. Have a pattern fashion show. Yes, that would be fun. I think a fashion show would be fun too. Next year release date. I love this. You guys are so awesome. And then let's see. And then you said sponsor a charity or sponsorship drive. Yeah, definitely we would be looking at sponsors and then, one of my good friends is the team over at Sewn Adaptive, so making adaptive adjustments to clothing. That is something, those are pattern making adjustments as well. We could do tailoring, there's so many things. That's the thing it's also it's so niche. Pattern making is such a niche topic. Like, you have to know how to sew to even know what I'm talking about. But within pattern making, it's such a broad subject. Like, there's so many different avenues that we can go down, so that's part of it too, is getting the feedback from you guys, because which ones are you guys most interested? What is going to be the thing that's going to help you in your life, in your pattern journey as much? Yeah. And did I write the fashion show? No, I didn't. Okay. Fashion show. So like a self-drafted fashion show, which usually is, fashion shows are usually people who make the thing from the whole, not always, but I guess, yeah. Doretha says, recognize your oldest, most senior student, and or the student that has completed the most lessons in the academy. Yes. That might be tough. But I do have a few that have been around for a while, who have, or the most, and that's the thing, is I really do want to do like an award. Like, I don't know that it'll happen the first year, but I do want to give out like awards, like that could be an award idea, Doretha, to have like the most accomplished student award, every year, and see who has done the most with their skills, kind of thing, like, or the biggest accomplishment with their skills. And there can be submissions for that. And I would love to, like, have people like Shingo Sato come and be featured. Or, bring in, like, there's TV and film, drafters and pattern makers, and like the life that they're about is completely different than the way I even do live theater. Couture designers and drafters and drapers, pattern makers, are different than fashion industry pattern makers or 3D pattern makers. So, I would love to maybe feature or give awards out for people higher in the community and have them come and do a talk or something like that. Lou Marie said it would be great not to overlap with Costume College. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And actually, speaking of Costume College, my professor friend Mela was very involved with Costume College since its inception. So she helped put that together in the early days and continued for a long time. So yeah, she is the one who's helping me plan this as well. But yes, definitely we wouldn't want to compete with Costume College. We know how wonderful Costume College is too. So yeah, we're looking more maybe early to mid-August is what we're thinking. And again, these are all very early days, like thinking about it, but I know, really we're already behind in planning. So I'm hoping we can make it happen, but if not, like we'll make it happen at some point. So we'll see. Projector sewing with Aronica. Absolutely. Projector sewing would be great. Aronica, of course, is involved. Aronica is a good friend of mine. So she does projector sewing. We also have Daily Sews and stuff, and she's very big into projector sewing and teaching about that. She's amazing. She's also in Together We Stitch. For those of you guys who are joining that, she's doing a class on that. Helena says, donate scraps at the end of con to recyclers. Oh, yes. Thank you for mentioning that, Helena. Recycling, sustainability movements, because that is something that I'm really interested in and haven't been able to incorporate in my own business as much as I would like to, that I learned about at ASG conference actually last year. Tea and donate scraps. Yeah. So now if there was more classes on like drafting and pattern making, like would we also want to have sewing classes? Because those are different things. Like to draft a pattern is one thing, and then to actually make the garment is another thing. Would we want to have both? Like, would we be interested in both? They kind of go hand in hand, but making sure. Flower Joy says, fashion's created using basic sloper for the fashion show. For sure. I mean, they can all be created using a basic sloper, Flower Joy. That is the amazing thing. Like, it can all be brought back to a basic sloper. But yes, absolutely. Maybe frock tails instead of fashion show. Oh, that's an interesting idea, Helena. So instead of doing like a fashion show, and that goes back to like our community and kind of mingling and bringing everyone together, maybe we have like a frock tails to either kick it off or close it out, and do like a frock tails as part of the show where everybody's like wearing what they made. And then every time, I mean, I've only been to 2 frock tails, and I'm going to a third next week, which, oh my God, I just finished my mock-up yesterday and figured out my pattern stuff. So now I have to true up my pattern and cut out of my real fabric. But we always have the 2 that I've been to, there's always like a Soul Train line where everybody gets to like strut their stuff and their thing that they're made. So that's a great idea. I really like that. So that people can, and it'll be like a mingling thing and a fashion show, and everybody's wearing stuff that they made, kind of like a dance or a ball, or but like a cocktail party. I really like that. Okay, let's see. Separate sewing classes. Yeah. Sewing time would be good. Sloper Olympics. Cal says, yeah, like, ooh, we could do like challenges. Like challenges on, like, here's some ideas and here's your sloper, and like give a set amount of time. Would that be fun? Would you guys be into that? Or like, who could do, I don't know. That's an interesting idea. I like that. Finishes, Kristen says, like the inside of my garments helping. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That is, an order of construction and things like that, like interesting ways of doing the finishes on the inside of the garment and like what those patterns look like. That is really interesting because that gets into like facings. And yeah, I like that too. You guys have some great ideas. And Sloper Olympics, I love it. This is totally a random thought, but my grandfather was a famous artist, and he used to do art shows and things like that, obviously. But he was known as like a quick draw artist, so he was featured in several different competitions where he would have to draw like a human face in 1 minute, and it was fascinating. I love to watch him do that kind of stuff. I don't know how we could do that with pattern drafting, but I bet there's a way we could do something like that if people be interested. Doretha says, I have bags of scraps and would love to know how to use it. How to use it was fabric to make things. Yeah. So maybe someone that has that skill. The Olympics theme. Ah, okay. Yeah, I love that. Yeah, like what to do, like scrap busting, like how to use your scraps. I know that there's even a thing where you can like create fabric from your scraps, like sewing them all together, felting them all together, and then using that. Katrina was talking about it in our class the other day. Oh my gosh, so many wonderful things. You guys rock. I love this so, so much. And then, oh, I'm sorry, I missed. Mela. Yes, she does rock. Lou Marie says there are several people in the historical fashion world who would use historical pattern drafting techniques. Yes, yes, yes. Step by step made pattern fashion. Zero waste pattern. Yes, 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 yes. Zero waste is so cool. Sewing time would be good. Yeah. I just want to make sure I didn't miss anything. Yeah, Mella's the best. She's my partner in crime for sure. And she's definitely a huge part of helping me create PatternCon. And Mella and I are going to do a live together, and you can learn more about her. She's wonderful. Okay, I want to write down here. Historical, techniques. Yeah, I think that was the one thing. Yeah. Oh, zero waste. That's what I wanted to write. Zero waste, because I already have historical techniques. Zero waste, I think, is fascinating, like trying to figure that out and how you really learn about that from a pattern making. That gets into like pattern making. I already think of as a puzzle that you figure out, it's like dissecting and taking the puzzle apart, like what those pieces look like. But then zero waste, I think, takes it to another level, right? It's like, how do you not have any waste? Like you have to get really creative with that. So I think that would be a fascinating class or something that we do. All right, you guys, amazing. So many good things. I have so many this is why I wanted to come to you. This is why I wanted your feedback, because I knew you guys would come up with some great ideas, and I want to incorporate this. We're building this together. This is bigger than me. This is bigger than me and my dreams. Like this is about all of us and what would benefit all of us. And so this helps me so much. It helps me immensely. Thank you so much for your feedback. I will come back. I'm glad you caught it too. Yes, I'll see you in a little bit for our Q&A session, Sue. So next week, Thursday, 3 p.m. Eastern, we'll have another chat. We'll talk about if there's any developments that I've heard. Come with your ideas, come with your thoughts. If something comes to you throughout the week, let me know. And then the next following week, we'll do that as well. And then I want to continue. And then the following week after that, I'll be on Charlotta's channel at the same time for, I don't know what we're talking about this month, actually. We were going to get back about it. But yeah, so we'll do Tricky Thursdays live for this month and talk about PatternCon. I think that would be a great way to get your feedback and to help me build this wonderful thing. So thank you guys so much. Definitely brain power, Karen. I can't wait to meet you in person. I'm so glad you're coming to the retreat. Thank you all for your suggestions. It really means a lot to me. Like I said, this is a community that we're building here, and I'm so happy that you're wanting to be a part of it and giving your suggestions, because they were all really, really good. So I will see you next week, hopefully. And some of you I will see later tonight in the Pattern Place. But until then, happy Tricky Thursday. All right. I'll talk to you later. Bye. Oh, how do I end this? There we go. Bye, guys. Thanks.